Hello guys, today we learn how to create ASP.NET Core first web API with GET method in Visual Studio 2022. To implement this, we have required Visual Studio 2022 and SQL Server 2012 or any other version, higher version. Let us see what is ASP.NET Core Web API. ASP.NET Core Web API is a framework for building HTTP based service that can be consumed by a client, wide range of clients, including browsers, mobile apps, and other web services. It is a part of the ASP.NET Core ecosystem, which is a cross-platform, high-performance, and open-source framework for building modern cloud-enabled internet connection application. To implement this, we need to follow some steps. For following these steps, you can create your ASP.NET Core Web API with GET method. Let us see. First, open Visual Studio 2022. Now, click on Create New Project. Then here you need to choose from the template ASP.NET Core Web API and click on Next button. Now here is you can provide your project name like ASP.NET Core Web API. Now click on the Next button. So here you can see that we are using like .NET 8.0 long-term support and configure for HTTPS. And you see in below like enable Open API support, that is Swagger, that is inbuilt. So you can test your web API, ASP.NET Core API very easily and a good manner without knowing the course. Now here you can use controllers and now click on the create button. Now you can see that your project has been created with a different folders. Now what will be the next step? You need to install 3 Nuget packages from Nuget Package Manager. So copy this one, frameworkcore.SqlServer, and go to tools, then go to Nuget Package Manager and then solution. For this solution, here go to browse and paste this one, and you can see Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.SqlServer. Select this one and click on install button. Apply and accept. For installation of our next frameworkcore.tools, again we will go here, paste it, and here we will get and click on install button and apply, accept. For third one, Microsoft.Extensions.Configuration, so go here, select it and press on install and apply. So that's way you can see whether this package, C package will install or not. So go to package, dependency, then packages, and you can see here your 3 packages like NTTFrameworkCore.SqlServer, NTTFrameworkCore.tools, and Microsoft.Extensions.Configuration, and one new thing like swashbuckle.sp.NET Core, that is for the open source API testing. After that, what we will do, we will make a folders name like models, and then first you need to create one folder, add new folders and put here folder name like models. After that we need a class, sample DB class, which can be injected from database through the entity framework. So how can we create? Let us see. First we need to go in Nuget Package Manager, then console. So console will be appear here. Now we write some command. So here you can see the command like escape folder and DB context, server name and database name, and also you can put here user ID and password of that database, and trusted connection true, trusted set equal to true, and Microsoft.entityFrameworkCore.SqlServer, and the output directory means models. This scaffolding sample DB context can be created in the model folder. So let us copy this one, go to your project and console and paste it, and after that you need to click on enter button. So I have clicked, I even, so here you can see that build started and build succeeded, and there is something warning like security related like TLS 1.2 or later for use. And here you can see that your sample DB context.cs class has been created now. So here you can see sample DB context and sample DB context, that is constructor based options, and all the table in that database you will here as a virtual, so that can be and also you can see one thing like your connection string here, so you can move from connection string here to another place like application.json, so that for the security region. So let us go here fsetting.json, and you can put here comma, and after that you can write here your connection strings and take like connection string default connection name and their value like server database name and connection true, set trusted certificate equal true. So you can copy here and put in application.json format. So I put here comma, then allow these ones. So I move from sample DB context to fsetting.json, and after that we need to remove here this connection strings. And how can we access from fsetting.json? You can write some basic things like name equal to connection strings, and name of the connection string is default connection I have put. So I can put here, remove one here, so this can be accessible through this way. Now after putting this one, whatever I have created, these services also need to add in the program.cs file. So copy this one, add db context to the container. So when you will open the program.cs file, whatever you create a new service, you need to add here, that is add controllers, and after that you can put in like one open API. What is open API? We will explain you in this video, and also for that automatically this will be added like builder or service add endpoint API explorer and build service.add chain, and configure the HTTP request pipeline. App environment is development, then you can put here app.uSwagger and app.uSwagger UI. So from this one you can test our web API in Swagger, which are in the UI base and very good way to testing your web API. So you can see that you have added these ones, and after that what we need to do, our next step is create a web API controller. So we will go here. First you need to remove which are already added in this projects. Now go to controllers and add new item. In item you will go sv.net core, then you will choose API controller empty, and here you can put your controller name, API controller name like, and click on the, see that your employee API controller has been created. Now we need to create a get method. So what we will do, so here you can see that HTTP get and press enter. Now you can provide the your method name. So here you can see that private read only sample DB context Then after that we need to create a constructor for this, so that can easily access the database through the entity framework. Now I have right here two get methods. So http get, then write here action. So what you will write, simply public async tasks I have written and action result, which can be like a return type or return a it shows the enumerator is support simple iteration over collection of specified type. Return a list of enumerable means collection of list, and here you can get method and put like employee, so method name, and after that simply I have write return await underscore context that table name implies to list async, so that will be returned, and you can put here some debugger points. So I have simple written a one get methods. So run this application now, and you know that I have we are getting a UI interface, that is Swagger. Now let us see what is Swagger. Swagger is a set of open source tool that helps you design, build, document, and consume RESTful API. In ASP.NET Core API, Swagger automates the generation of interactive, machine-readable documents that allow developers to understand and test the API capabilities directly from a web browser without accessing the source code. Core concepts: OpenAPI Specification (OS). This is a language agnostic standardized description format for REST API, often in JSON or YML format. The Swagger tooling in ASP.NET Core generates this specification file, typically OpenAPI JSON or Swagger JSON, based on controller, routes, and models. Swagger UI: this is a web-based user interface that uses the generated OpenAPI specification to display interactive documentation. It provides a clean visual representation of the API endpoints, method get, post, put, delete, parameter, and response type. Allow developer to try out API calls directly within the UI. Swagger CodeGen: this tool can use the OpenAPI specification to automatically generate client libraries, SDK, and server stuffs in various programming languages. Key benefits: automated documentation. It eliminates the need for manual and time-consuming documentation, ensuring documentation always stay in sync with the actual testing. Developer can test API endpoints in real within the Swagger UI, which simplifies the testing debugging process similar to the using tools like Postman. Improve collaboration. It provides a universal dictionary for APIs, facilitating seamless communications and collaboration between front and end developer, backend developers, and testers. Client generation. It enables the automatic generation of client code, minimizing the workload required for a client to connect your services. API discoverability. It makes the API functionality easily discoverable and understandable for consumers, reducing the learning curve for integrated with the service. Implementation in ASP.NET Core. In, in ASP.NET Core, the most popular implementation is open source. Sourcebuckle.sp.core Nuget Package, which includes all three own components like Sourcebuckle or Swagger, the middleware to expose the Swagger JSON in Sourcebuckle ASP.NET Core Swagger Gen, the generate that builds the OpenAPI document objects from your code, and Sourcebuckle.sp.NET Swagger UI, the embedded tool for hosting the interactive documentation UI. By default, the Swagger UI can easily be accessed by navigating the HTTP localhost port Swagger when running the application. So you can see the Swagger open source API UI so that you can test your web API, ASP.NET Core Web API with very easily method. So here you can see imply API, that is methods name with the get methods. You can see here. Now click on this one. So there is no parameter and try it out. So click here, and after click here you can see the execute command. So when you put on execute, your code debugger point will be here, and after that here you can see the returns. So API controller name and method name you can see. So directly it can be called through the API imply API, and click on this one. So there is a button like try it out and then execute. So debugger point will be here, and you can see that, and after that you can press F5. So here you can see your requested URL like API imply API directory will be hit, and we will get all the result. Status code is 200 and response body employee ID, employee name, address, all the list employee. Also this you can test through the postman. So click here on postman, close this ones and put here, and method name is get, and click on the send button. So also your debug point will be hit this web API and F5. So here you can see data will be received in postman also. So best way you can test using Swagger API, or you want to more.
Thanks for watching my YouTube videos. If you want to more videos, please subscribe my YouTube channel.